One thing I've realized after making my video on and playing Deadlock is that you're not allowed to have an opinion on Deadlock, or at least not a negative one. You're not allowed to criticize Deadlock. This wouldn't be a problem since this is the internet, but the sheer level of shilling for Deadlock I'm seeing and the almost script level arguments defending it is weird. Now I'm not going to definitively say that Valve is hiring shills for Deadlock, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were. A game that's two genres most people generally aren't a fan of anymore, with a boring art style and characters suddenly becoming this big thing, you can't convince me the support for Deadlock is organic. Aside from the inorganic natures of Deadlock's fanbase, you're generally not allowed to say anything negative about the game at all. Any and all legitimate criticism of the game is always met with the same arguments of, you just didn't play long enough. You don't know what you're talking about. Skill issue. And the most common one. The game is in alpha. You can't criticize it because it's not finished. These arguments are usually the ones you'll ever see. And they all suck equally. Thankfully on my video on Deadlock I've been relatively spared this retardation. Only having two commenters say this stupid shit trying to invalidate what I said. Although my time on other videos and the Steam forums shows that this is a much more prevalent thing on more popular spaces. That one gay VTuber Pippa had a terrible time with the game, and of course these retards showed up in droves, defending the game the best way their paychecks from Valve could handle. The Steam forums are bombarded with Deadlock invite threads, likely just bots, but the threads conveniently hide any threads discussing or criticizing the game. And of course, the few that you can still see have countless shills in the thread making the same three arguments. Along with this, the official Deadlock Discord doesn't allow criticism of the game to, quote-unquote, prevent it from influencing other playtesters' opinions. It's all so strange, so peculiar, and convenient for Valve. Again, I'm not saying definitively that Valve is hiring people to hide valid criticism of the game, but this is all just too convenient in my opinion. Now the last part of this video I want to compile my thoughts on Deadlock and give some of these retards a reality check on the game. 1. The art style sucks. A hodgepodge of occult noir and sci-fi theme. This shit looks stupid together. The noir occult can work together, but having grandmas with plasma sci-fi bows, samurai robots, and token day laborer woman with a laser minigun and turrets next to the 1920s through 30s gangsters and gargoyles looks fucking weird and bad. It does not mix well at all. 2. The game has retarded gimmick mechanics. Some of these mechanics are dumb as fuck and make no sense. Arbitrary gimmicks added not because they add depth or style, but it makes it different. Who wanted infinite ammo while sliding? Why was this added? Only certain builds and characters can even really utilize the feature. So why is it treated as a universal gimmick? Dash jumping? Who needed this in a MOBA? It's not hard to do or necessarily bad, but it just doesn't really add anything beyond another fucking mechanic. Crates and urns. Things that drop souls and random permanent boosts. It's cool to have, but why is it here? It goes completely unexplained in-game, and new players don't even know it exists. And when they do learn it exists, they're encouraged to run around the map, smashing them to upgrade their character instead of defending their lane. 3. The characters suck. This seems to be a hot take in a lake of fire, but these characters are forgettable. None of them are unique, and none of them are interesting. Abrams and Infernus are so far the only characters I like, and Abrams is currently my favorite to play. In spite of that, these characters blend in with the slop that comes out in recent years. This is all the more insulting when coming from Valve, a company known for making recognizable and lovable characters. 4. Deadlock competes with Valve's games. Deadlock is actively competing with Dota 2 and Team Fortress 2, and is going to satisfy neither. Having a hero shooter arbitrarily shoved into a MOBA is, as many suspected when the game first leaked, a retarded idea. The hero shooter aspects aren't just pulled down, they are massively hindered by the MOBA aspects of the game. Hero shooters thrive on readability and predictability to a degree. It's why TF2 is such a good game. On every class, their different weapons all have unique abilities and are typically readable through silhouette alone. A demo man with a stock grenade launcher is easily distinguished from a demo man with a lock and load. That's all thrown out of the window with Deadlock. Because since it's a MOBA, you have no real way of telling what build an enemy has until you're already fighting them. This leads to the game being extremely unsatisfying for people wanting a hero shooter experience. MOBA players, which are typically gooks and chinks, are the only ones satisfied with the game. The game is actively competing with 2 Valve titles and is failing to satisfy the players of one of them. Matches are too much of a commitment. This ties in with the fact that it is a MOBA first, hero shooter second, but it's an issue in and of itself. Matches can last up to an hour, and you aren't allowed to leave. I get why, but actively being punished for not wanting to play a steamroll is retarded. Matches are typically already decided at about mid-game, when the winning team's snowball is already rolling. The passive-ass early game is the deciding factor of the rest of the game. If you don't feel like getting stomped for 50 minutes, well, too bad, sweaty. Go back to spawn and wait an entire full minute to respawn. I'm going to leave it off with one simple statement, and I want you to listen loud and clear whether you be a Deadlock hater or shill. Deadlock would already be forgotten and memory hold were it not a Valve game. If it didn't have Valve on the box, nobody would give a single shit. Deadlock would be another victim in the sea of forgotten MOBAs. Valve is the only thing making this game popular. It's the only reason why you and I give a shit. Deadlock is not a unique title. It's not special. It's a cough cough exclusive game made by Valve. A mediocre MOBA that blends in with its peers. It's not objectively bad, but that doesn't make it good.
Go big or go home? No, I don't think so. Right past me! I got him. Let go of me. In the barrel. Lift it. Lucky Race didn't get the drop on me. Incoming! I brought a little surprise from back home. Throwing the barrel! Time to go flying. Setting dynamite. Lifting. Pay for this, Wraith.
As alive.
God, that lady creeps me out.